Oh, good evening to you. You must be wondering why I'm sitting in the dark here. Well, actually, I am, but I'm using it's an LED light that was sent to me by a brother in America some time back, and I've never used it. So I thought I'd come into the church this evening, and it's not even late, actually. It's only 20 to 5, but in the UK it's pitch black. And it looks as though my LED light works very well. So I thought I'd just share a very short message with you. Last night I was watching a film, and I'm sure many of you have watched the same film as I've watched. It's Saving Private Ryan. I originally saw it at the cinema, and I must say for the first half an hour, I think I felt as I wanted to walk out because it was just pure war. When the American troops landed on Omaha Beach, and I think something like 5,000 were slaughtered on Omaha Beach that day, and the sea ran red with blood. But the story of Saving Private Ryan is quite unique, really. Apparently, if there are multiple deaths in one family, for instance, if 3 or 4 sons go to war, and say 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4 or even 4 out of 5 are killed, the thought is that to spare the parents further grief, they would go out and look for the one that's left and bring him home. And there's a story that's recited in the film of Private Ryan. I don't know if it's a true story, but the general reads out a letter from Abraham Lincoln concerning exactly that, where a family lose something like 4 out of 5 sons, and how they honor the sacrifice that was made by these boys. But the film, anyway, they send out a kind of crack elite squad to go out and get the remaining member of Ryan's the Ryan family. 3 out of 4 were killed on Omaha Beach, and the one Ryan they believe is still alive. So they go out and they look for him, and eventually they find him, and they want to bring him back. The film stars Tom Hanks, but he doesn't want to come back initially because he wants to. They're holding a bridge against the Germans, and he wants to stay for the very end. And he manages to persuade Tom Hanks and the team that he wants to stay to the end. And there's a massive battle between them and the Germans at the end. And Tom Hanks is killed. But just before he's killed, he whispers something to Ryan. Now, I wasn't quite sure what it was in the film, so I went on the plot lines of the film, and it said something to the effect that Private Ryan, now that he's managed to get through this battle, and he'll make his way home back to his mum. And before Tom Hanks dies, he says, "Earn the sacrifice that's been made for you." Because several of the men of the elite squad that went out to look for Private Ryan were actually killed. And so he goes back and lives his life out to the full. But it made me think. It made me think about the importance of a life. And I don't know if any of you have seen Schindler's List, but at the very end, Oskar Schindler, who had saved something like, I think it was 1,100 Jews from extermination in Auschwitz, was presented with a gold ring. If those of you that have seen the film, and it's presented by Ben Kingsley, and he gives Liam Neeson, who plays Oskar Schindler, this ring, and it's engraved, and it has a Hebrew saying on it, and it says to the effect, "He who saves one life saves the world entire." And I thought of the significance of that and the importance of this crack squad going out to find Private Ryan, one soldier out of hundreds of thousands out there. And of course, during the course of the film, many people are killed. Germans, Americans, and you just see them dropping like flies. But you don't lose the importance of the fact that one life needed to be saved. And I thought about it in terms of the gospel. I'll share that in a minute, but two scriptures that come to mind here. We know that we can't earn our salvation because it's been paid for us on the cross. It's a free gift. But it's still important to know this, that although Private Ryan couldn't earn the sacrifice effectively, I suppose what he meant was try and live your life as best as you can to help others because you've been helped. And James puts it into context here in chapter 2 and verse 24. He says, you see then how that by works a man is justified, and not by faith only. If I go back to 17, I'll just read the prior verses here. Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead, being alone. Yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. Thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble. But thou wilt know, O vain man, that faith without works is dead. Was not Abraham our father justified with his works? By works, when he had offered Isaac his son on the altar? Seest thou how faith wrought with his works, and by works was faith made perfect? So effectively, what is the Bible saying here? Well, I think the answer comes actually if I go back here into 1 Samuel. And it's chapter 15, and it's verses 22 to 24. And it says this. And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. To obey is better than sacrifice. And so I began to think about salvation. And how do we earn it? Of course, we can't earn it by doing good, but we can earn it with two things: our endurance and our obedience. Our endurance, he who endures to the end will be saved. And constantly we're told through the scriptures, constantly, about obeying the Lord, about doing the works of the works of him who sent us. Remember, I once work the works of him who sent me. John 9:4, as long as it is day, for the night is coming when no man can work. So I just thought I'd leave you with that thought, and just to end it, just to say this, that Private Ryan was the center of the movie, and you were the center of God's movie. And if you were the only person on earth that Jesus was wanting to save, he would have come for you only and died for you. And I think that is the analogy that I want to draw today from this. If you were the only one worth saving, he would have come for you. And he does come for you, and he comes for me. And fortunately, he comes for the other 8 billion people on this planet, but many of them, of course, won't hear what he has to say. They don't want to know him. But he sends out his crack squad into the war zone. That's us. And we go out not for Private Ryan alone. We go out for whosoever believes, who will believe in him. And when they respond to the gospel and repent and turn from sin and believe, salvation is awaiting them. Maybe that's you tonight, as I sit here in the dark, just telling you that Jesus Christ is alive and that he came for you. And you are worth it. You are truly worth it in his eyes, because you were made in his image, and he wants to perfect you from one degree of glory to another. I'll leave you with that thought. Have a blessed evening. Shalom. Oh, just one more thing, as Columbo would say. As I was listening back to what I said, it just occurred to me. Jesus said in the parable, leaving the 99, going out to find the one lost sheep. So, it fits, doesn't it? The one lost sheep. That's what's precious to Jesus. Good night.